President Donald Ramotar describes the motion to reduce Berbice River Bridge fares as populist politicking. President credits New Zealand High Commissioner, and the head of state congratulates the ANC of South Africa and the BJP of India on their electoral victories. We'll have the details of these and other presidential activities in this week's edition of the Diary for the period May 10 to May 16. I'm Paul McAdam. Representatives of the Jesus Deliverance Mission International Church paid a courtesy call on President Ramotar. Another church has stepped forward with an offer to assist government in moving towards addressing several of the social issues affecting Guyanese. Making this offer was the Jesus Deliverance Mission International Church, whose representatives paid a courtesy call on President Ramotar on May 12th at the presidential complex.
We have our belief that the church must work with the government, because it's written in the Word of God, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verses 6, where it says, the government will be upon his shoulder. So we strongly believe that we are, part and parcel of this, that's going on. As the church, has a responsibility to work with the government.
Okay, are there any initiatives you guys looking into to, say, partner with government? Any areas you're thinking of?
Well, whatever area we're ready. We're ready because we mandate for this nation. So we are ready for whatever call. We are ready.
I remember him calling on probably like religious organizations to help out with like social issues like of domestic abuse and violence and so on. So you're ready and able.
Yeah, we are ready. Yeah, with the help of God, because without God we can do absolutely nothing. Nothing. There's nothing we can do without him.
Pastor Albert was also accompanied by her colleague and fellow pastor Carol George.
Came to invite the cabinet actually to our 28 years of anniversary at our ministry there. So an invitation is extended to the entire cabinet and the government.
Where is the church located?
At Thomas and Alexander Street, Kitty.
Between the corners.
Between Street 25, Thomas and Alexander Street, Kitty.
And when is this happening? What day?
We have 3 days of celebration, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th of June. And each night will be at 6:30 p.m.
Brazilian Ambassador Luis Gilberto Sexas de Andre is set to depart his Guyanese post after completing 4 years of duty. The ambassador paid the traditional farewell visit to the president and thanked him for the high level of cooperation shared during his tour of duty and briefed him about his successor, who's due to take up the new post soon.
I'm very happy that we have the possibility of achieving a lot of things. What we have not achieved yet is on the way, so I think we have a much better relations, much better projects underway with Guyana. After the inauguration of the Tacutu River Bridge, we are now thinking about paving the roads. So these projects are very important for Guyana, very important for northern Brazil also. We think to have the possibility in the future of increasing trades and have more economic integration with Guyana if we can have this infrastructure in place.
Guyana and Brazil share close ties and collaborate on many issues such as industry, trade, mining, and security. Brazil has provided military assistance to Guyana in the form of warfare training and logistics. Bilateral relations between the two countries have recently increased as a result of Brazil's new South-South foreign policy aimed at strengthening South American integration. During a state visit by Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva to Georgetown in March 2007, the government of Guyana and Brazil signed several cooperation agreements and announced plans to boost trade between the two countries. You're watching The Diary, where we have been recapping the highlights of the country's president's weekly activities. More after the break. Government's efforts to continue the improvement of medical services have been negatively affected by the decision of the parliamentary opposition to cut funding for the specialty hospital and the medical sector. This move means that monies for the provision of medical gear for doctors and nurses, along with new equipment for hospitals and clinics such as those at Port Kaituma, Linden, Kokwani and Bartica, and new ambulances have not been approved. This move by the political opposition will adversely affect the provision and delivery of health care in communities across Guyana. The opposition's disapproval of monies for the Office of the President has affected several agencies such as the Civil Defense Commission. This agency deals with managing and assisting persons and communities affected by disasters, natural and man-made. The move to disapprove funding for the CDC means that if any disaster were to occur, the government would not be able to provide any assistance to those in need.
The disapproval of funds by the political opposition for the Ministry of Finance's administrative arm means that students wishing to attend the University of Guyana will not be able to access any loans for 2014. The move will prevent many students who are unable to pay cash from studying and having a tertiary education. Most of these students are underprivileged and are unable to afford higher education to further their development and increase job opportunities. By cutting the administrative arm of the Office of the President's funding, the allocation for the provision of the Head of State Security has been removed. This action can compromise the security of President Donald Ramotar. This move sets a dangerous precedent and is unacceptable for any head of state, government, or right-thinking people of a democratic nation.
The President congratulated the ANC of South Africa on their re-election to office. The head of state has congratulated the African National Congress on its recent victory in the general elections of South Africa. In offering congratulations on behalf of government and the peoples of Guyana, President Ramotar said that the ANC's success demonstrates the continued confidence that the people of South Africa have in the party's leader and presidential-elect Jacob Zuma to lead them and the political party. President Ramotar also wished Zuma every success in his renewed mandate and looks ahead to continued collaboration for improved relations between Guyana and South Africa. President Ramotar also sent congratulations to the winner of the world's largest democratic nation's general elections. The overwhelming success for the BJP political party in India has seen the president offering congratulations on behalf of government and the Guyanese people.
I would like to extend congratulations to the leader of that party, who very soon will become Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, for this major achievement. This is by any stretch of the imagination, this is a very important achievement. And here, after a very, very long time, the possibility of India having one party in the government that can control the parliament after a very long time, this is certainly a big achievement on the part of the BJP. And I have extended congratulations to him in that regard.
India has been hailed for successfully holding the world's largest democratic general elections in the world. In accepting and welcoming the new non-resident High Commissioner of New Zealand, President Ramotar says that there is much tangible evidence that both countries have over the years shared meaningful relations at the multilateral and bilateral levels. In accepting and welcoming the new non-resident High Commissioner, President Ramotar said that there is much tangible evidence that both countries have over the years shared meaningful relations at the multilateral and bilateral levels. He noted that the desire expressed by New Zealand to strengthen relations not only at the bilateral level, but also at the CARICOM level was most welcome.
This, I believe, augurs well, too, for the relations between the Pacific and the Caribbean. My government is therefore looking forward to receiving your Foreign Minister in the coming week for his engagement with CARICOM foreign ministers during their council meeting.
There is much potential for new opportunities to be explored between Guyana and New Zealand, said the President.
Particularly in the areas of agriculture and renewable energy. And I trust that during your tenure, we would be able to pursue these among other areas of cooperation for the mutual benefit of our peoples. Please be assured that you will be accorded the full support of my government in the discharge of your responsibilities.
The new High Commissioner in her accreditation speech noted that Guyana and New Zealand share a warm, long-standing bilateral relationship marked by frequent collaboration on issues such as renewable energy, agriculture, and small state issues.
Ours is a friendly and constructive relationship Although, of course, we have good, healthy competition on the cricket pitch. And I'm pleased to see that our New Zealand cricket team, the Black Caps, will be playing the West Indies in Guyana next month. Your Excellency, our countries work closely together in the multilateral sphere as well, in the Commonwealth and at the United Nations. We cooperate across a broad range of issues, including sustainable development for small states, the Arms Trade Treaty, oceans and fisheries management, all issues of vital importance to both countries. We are also a committed member of the United Nations, and we believe that it is very important that small states have their turn on the bodies of the United Nations. For this reason, one of our foreign policy priorities for the New Zealand government is our candidature to the UN Security Council. Can I also say that New Zealand and Guyana share a deep appreciation of our indigenous cultures, and in 2007 we were delighted to have your Foreign Minister visit New Zealand and to see our showcasing of a multicultural nation.
The New Zealand High Commissioner Jan Henderson previously served as her country's official representative to Ankara, Turkey and New Delhi, India. More of the diary after this break. The opposition's disapproval of monies for the Office of the President has affected several agencies such as the Civil Defense Commission. This agency deals with managing and assisting persons and communities affected by disasters, natural and man-made. The move to disapprove funding for the CDC means that if any disaster were to occur, the government would not be able to provide any assistance to those in need.
By cutting the administrative arm of the Office of the President's funding, the allocation for the provision of the Head of State Security has been removed. This action can compromise the security of President Donald Ramotar. This move sets a dangerous precedent and is unacceptable for any head of state, government, or right-thinking people of a democratic nation. The disapproval of funds by the political opposition for the Ministry of Finance's administrative arm means that students wishing to attend the University of Guyana will not be able to access any loans for 2014. The move will prevent many students who are unable to pay cash from studying and having a tertiary education. Most of these students are underprivileged and are unable to afford higher education to further their development and increase job opportunities.
Government's efforts to continue the improvement of medical services have been negatively affected by the decision of the parliamentary opposition to cut funding for the specialty hospital and the medical sector. This move means that monies for the provision of medical gear for doctors and nurses, along with new equipment for hospitals and clinics such as those at Port Kaituma, Linden, Kokwani and Bartika, and new ambulances have not been approved. This move by the political opposition will adversely affect the provision and delivery of health care in communities across Guyana. The motion to reduce Berbice River Bridge fares is mere politicking, according to President Ramotar. President Ramotar has described the recent move by the parliamentary opposition to pass a motion seeking to lower the Berbice River Bridge fares as an attempt at populist politicking.
For particularly from the point of view of APNU, to make such a suggestion is very irresponsible. To say that for several reasons. One, I think they know very well because they were in Parliament when the act was passed, and they know that the government is constrained from doing anything in relation to the toll of crossing the bridge, largely because the bridge itself, the act itself says that for any changes to the toll, it has to come from the board of directors of the bridge, making a request to the minister, for the minister to do any changes. And no such suggestions have come.
He noted that since the bridge's operation began in 2005, traffic has more than doubled.
Which of course would help a lot with the creation of more business opportunities, because time, as you know, the old saying, time is money. And it used to take between 3 to 6 hours to cross the Berbice River with the ferry. Now it takes 3 minutes to drive over. So obviously it's much more efficient. There's no hassle. The fresh produce can be coming down from the quarantine in agricultural products, etc., traveling through. So that's the second point to make, that there is no evidence that lowering the cost to cross the bridge will increase the traffic. The evidence is not so, actually. And also the bridge, in order for the bridge to continue to provide a service, it has to be continuously to be viable. So that is another issue we have to take.
The president said that the opposition's position, if taken, is akin to nationalization of the bridge.
This nationalization will be of a different sort, because in the past when we nationalized, it was nationalizing property owned by foreigners in our country. Now this is a bridge company that is owned by Guyanese, with many ordinary Guyanese, many Guyanese having shares, and Guyanese companies having shares into this bridge, and therefore we have to be very careful how we handle that in order to maintain that service.
There continues to be a small ferry service to assist those living closer to the river, and this is heavily subsidized, he added.
The bridge itself to my mind, it's a major, one of the successful public-private partnership arrangements, the PPP, that we've had in this country. And the opposition obviously just playing very cheap politics, acting extremely irresponsibly to make a suggestion that they have made.
The record rice production of 300,000 tons for the first crop is just one indication of the investment that government has put into developing the agriculture sector. This figure means that Guyana may be on track to record an overall record level of annual production.
Not only is production has been raised, but also productivity. Yield per hectare has gone up considerably. So obviously that's a big success story in our production in rice. Now, of course, success also creates its own challenges from time to time. And now we have to find new markets for the rice that we produce.
The president is of the opinion that the country can earn a lot more from value-added rice products.
Maybe we should start thinking of producing cereals, rice cereals, with those kind of investment, for us to be able to add value and even earn much more, and also dealing with the whole question of the market, of finding market for increased production, because as we of course want to encourage production and productivity to continue to go up, we also have to find the markets for the product, and also even add value to it, so that the rice industry creates an income not only for the farmers, but it creates income for employment for workers and a whole stream of not only the workers in the rice mill, but if you start producing cereals, producing other products, packaging of rice, making 5-minute rice and 1-minute rice that can help housewives to ease the burden of their work. All of that, I think, will help to create much more employment and face many of the challenges that we have to face.
Last year, Guyana produced a record 535,000 tons of rice, with large shipments being sent overseas to countries such as Venezuela and other CARICOM territories. Cooperation by the parliamentary opposition could have avoided the massive fine recently imposed by the Caribbean Court of Justice on Guyana. The massive fine that the Caribbean Court of Justice has awarded to the Rhodesia importers against Guyana for the imposition of an environmental tax to the tune of some $6 million is one which could have been avoided, according to President Ramattar.
That is very unfortunate, because as you probably are aware, that the government took a bill to the National Assembly to be passed in order to try to equalize the taxes. The opposition voted against this bill, and now we see the consequences of that is that the CCJ has found us guilty, and with a huge fine of some $6 million United States dollars.
The money which government has to pay could have been better spent on several key areas, he added, citing it as another example of the political opposition's uncooperative stance, even at the risk of harming the national interest.
This is a lot of money that we could have gone in to do a lot of work for people in the communities. We know that people still complain about garbage, about need for better roads, better drainage, and so forth. And here, just because the opposition refused to support us in passing this bill, and with the joint opposition one-seat majority in the parliament, it is costing this country very, very heavily at this point in time.
It is time for the political opposition to become more responsible, the president said.
Most of the very important projects that we've had, the Amila Falls, the anti-money laundering, the several issues, the airport, the Marriott Hotel, the specialty hospital, all of these things that will have a major impact on the economy and a major impact on the lives of every single person in Guyana. And here we see that the opposition constantly, this is only the latest of a long list of areas in which they have been non-cooperative at the expense of the quality of life of our people.
That's all in this week's diary for the period May 10 to May 16, 2014. Before we go, these were some of the highlights. President Donald Ramotar describes motion to reduce Berbice River Bridge fares as populist politicking. President credits New Zealand's High Commissioner, and the head of state congratulates the ANC of South Africa and the BJP of India on their electoral victories. Do join us again for the next program when we will bring you more of the President's activities. I'm Paul McAdam, thanking you for joining us. Do have a pleasant rest of the week. The President delivers first address to the United